Concern for Windsor's auto sector. Canada strikes an EV deal with China. Move over. Police warn ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And practice patience. Delays at the Windsor-Detroit tunnel.
Come a little earlier or come a little later, or just download a really nice podcast and prepare to spend an extra few minutes in our lovely tunnel.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Reaction is pouring in after Prime Minister Mark Carney announced Canada and China have struck a deal to allow tens of thousands of Chinese-made EVs into Canada. The landmark deal will see China slash tariffs on Canadian canola in exchange. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver digs into the details.
The stalls at Beijing's busy food markets will soon be filled with more Canadian lobster, seafood and canola products after Canada and China signed what the Prime Minister is calling a landmark trade agreement.
We're building a web of new connections with China to create transformative opportunities for Canadian workers, build more stability, more certainty and prosperity on both sides of the Pacific.
As part of that deal, China will remove all existing tariffs on Canadian canola meal, lobsters, crab and peas until at least the end of the year, and permanently reduce its tariff on canola seed to 15%. The tariffs on canola oil and pork will remain.
If you're a canola farmer, you're probably cautiously optimistic that something's going to come from this because we don't know the full details. But if you're a Canadian auto worker, this is devastating news because they know that this is going to undercut North American produced vehicles.
In exchange, Canada will let 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles into Canada, essentially tariff-free, increasing that amount every year after. By 2030, half of those EVs should cost a maximum of $35,000.
We need to look at this in the context of building. I mean, we're building a new part of our car industry. Building cars of the future in partnership.
The new trade pact that encourages Chinese investment in Canada's auto sector was announced hours after Carney shook hands with the Chinese president, closing the deal on a 5-pillar strategic partnership meant to tear down trade barriers and forge new ties in areas from finance to energy and tourism.
A healthy and stable China-Canada relationship serves the common interest of our two countries. It is also good for the peace, stability, and prosperity of the world.
The Prime Minister says concerns about foreign interference and human rights were brought up in his private meeting with Xi Jinping. He leaves Beijing tomorrow for Qatar, where he will once again try to drum up business investment. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Beijing, China.
As you might imagine, the news is getting mixed reviews across Windsor, Essex, the automotive capital of Canada. Chris Campbell has spent the day talking to stakeholders and joins us this hour. Chris?
Yes, Stephanie, that new federal trade deal that would allow thousands of Chinese-made electric vehicles into Canada is raising concerns about the long-term impact on the local auto industry. While some analysts say the short-term effects could be limited, union leaders warn the move may add pressure to Canadian auto jobs that are already facing uncertainty.
The agreement with China will allow up to 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles a year into Canada at a reduced tariff. For Windsor, a city built on auto manufacturing, the deal is drawing mixed reaction.
This is a baby step. This is the door opened a crack. It's not a floodgate. That is the takeaway from this. It's also a deal that contains a lot of words like expects, promises, pledges, those kind of things. So nothing is really set in stone yet.
Greg Layson says the numbers help put the deal into perspective. 49,000 vehicles is a small slice of all vehicle sales in Canada.
If you were to allow 49,000 EVs into Canada last year, that would have accounted for 2.5% of all the vehicles sold in Canada. It would have accounted for a large percent of battery electric vehicles sold in Canada. It is an increase in the number of purely EVs. but it's not a huge number in the grand scheme of things in total automotive sales.
Layson says Windsor's current manufacturing footprint isn't directly threatened, at least for now.
We build an EV here, but it's a muscle car. a Dodge brand owned by Stellantis. That's a very niche market, very high profit margin market. And so these don't threaten what is built in Windsor. It doesn't threaten the battery industry in Windsor that's starting to grow.
From a consumer standpoint, Layson says the deal could make EVs more affordable, but warns there are trade-offs.
I mean, this is a win for the consumer more than anyone else, because these EVs are priced at $35,000. It's a loss for cybersecurity in some fronts because there are questions about Chinese technology.
Union leaders, meanwhile, say the risks to Canadian auto workers outweigh the benefits.
When you look at the whole picture, people need to understand what this really means. You're adding tremendous stress to an already overstressed Canadian auto manufacturing segment and industry here in Canada.
Stewart points out the quota is set to grow each year, while agriculture concessions from China are temporary. He says opening the market to lower cost imports could discourage future investment in Canadian plants.
When you're opening the market to a cheaper vehicle, what it's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to drive investment away, not bring investment in.
While the immediate impact on Windsor's auto sector may be limited, both analysts and labor leaders say the long-term consequences will depend on how quickly those imports increase and whether Canada can protect domestic auto jobs at the same time. Stefanie?
Okay, so Chris, what is the reaction we're hearing from workers?
Yes, we weren't able to talk to many workers at the Stellantis plant today as it is on shutdown, but we did speak to a couple of them, and here's what they had to say.
We don't know how cheap they're going to be, but I'm going to say it is opening the door for potential problems in the future, and we'll see what happens. That's all I can say.
I don't have an issue with it. We don't make a small car here in Canada, and we don't make a small car EV here in Canada, so I'm not sure how that has any bearing on this plant, but I guess we'll have to wait and see in the future. I don't have a problem with it, though, or Mr. Carney.
Premier Doug Ford was also asked to react to the news today. To put it bluntly, Ford is not pleased.
This is going to be terrible for not only just all the people of Ontario, but especially the auto manufacturers, the supply chain. We're letting China into a market that's going to have lower tariffs than our largest market, the U.S., and I don't think that's going to go over too well with President Trump. But it's going to hurt every single auto manufacturer, every single supply chain that has anything to do with the auto sector. This was not thought out properly.
And remember, Stefanie, all of this is coming under the shadow of looming CUSMA negotiations with the U.S. and Mexico, which the union hopes can get on track.
Okay, and there will definitely be follow-ups to this. Chris Campbell, thank you for this. So for a question of the day, we want to know, would you buy a Chinese-made vehicle? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you are enjoying this recent blast of wintry weather. Out of almost 800 votes, 73% say no. Commuters using the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel are finding increasing long wait times, as Bob Belichico found out. A toll increase at the Ambassador Bridge, along with increased security, are behind the delays.
We've seen a noticeable increase in morning commuters.
A round trip across the bridge now costs passenger vehicles $28 or $14 each way.
There's about 11,000 people who live in Windsor, Essex, who commute to Detroit every day. Lots of healthcare workers, lots of big three. Those folks are taking the tunnel even more than they did before.
Chudner says what used to take 10 to 12 minutes now takes up to 20 minutes to get through the tunnel and U.S. Customs. The biggest delay is taking place between 6:15 and 7:30 in the morning. He suggests increased security levels may lead to extra questioning on the American side.
Come a little earlier or come a little later, or just download a really nice podcast and prepare to spend an extra few minutes in our lovely tunnel.
Applying for a Nexus card is another suggestion Chudner offers to motorists.
Generally, our friends at U.S. Customs have 4 Nexus lanes open and 3 regular lanes open for the morning commute. But oftentimes, the Nexus lanes are not terribly busy.
He also points out the benefits of having a Nexpress pay card, which drops the toll fee from $8.25 to $5.90 at both sides of the border. Now, CTV reached out to the Ambassador Bridge about possible traffic volume changes following the toll increase, but has not received a response by news time. Over here at the Gordie Howe International Bridge, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority has not announced an opening date, but I'm told that it will open in early 2026, and the toll rates will be announced before it's opened.
We're ready to go anytime. Just open the gates and let's go.
Steve Cosma, Business Development Manager at Morris Transportation, says the company has eaten the increase at the Ambassador Bridge, which for trucks is $15 to $20 per axle.
When we're pricing ad hoc business, we're able to kind of put that in place, but stuff that we already have priced out, we're taking that to the bottom line.
He hopes relief is on the way when the new bridge opens. Bob Belichico, CTV News.
In Welland, Ontario, jury deliberations have now entered a second day in the murder trial of a man charged with killing a young woman from Essex. 20-year-old Juliana Panunzio and her friend 18-year-old Christine Crooks of Toronto were both shot to death on January 19th of 2021. 27-year-old Christopher Lucas from Toronto pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder. The jury started deliberations on Thursday just before 1 o'clock, and they continued into the evening before resuming this morning. We are keeping in contact with court staff in Welland and will bring you an update as soon as we have one. Fire crews were called to a multi-unit structure fire in Blenheim early this morning. Flames damaged 3 units on Talbot Street East, displacing residents but causing no injuries. Damage is estimated at $500,000 and the fire remains under investigation. Enbridge is reminding customers about the importance of keeping gas meters and appliance vents clear of snow and ice. The company says failing to do so can increase the risk of a carbon monoxide leak. It can also lead to reduced reliability of heating systems and delayed access for first responders in case of an emergency. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for a first look at the wintry weather. Gary.
Well, more snow on the way. It's cold and windy, and this massive system of low pressure is dominating, well, the Great Lakes proper, much of southern Ontario, much of the north or northern tier of the Midwest USA. A couple of things that we've noticed in the last 20 minutes, in fact, with the radar imagery, we're starting to see a little bit more lake enhancement, and that could be an issue along the 400 series, the 400 itself, the 401 coming off Lake Huron, and even Georgian Bay further north and east of us. There's snow and wind and very chilly temperatures in store through the weekend and into a very cold next week. I'll break down what you need to know, all of the good stuff about snow and cold just ahead.
And during the snowstorm this week, Windsor police recorded 80 weather-related crashes. One collision was a hit and run that injured a pedestrian on Edinburgh Street near Howard Avenue. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police are urging drivers to slow down in winter conditions. An important reminder, police and emergency crews are working on those slippery streets and highways, and drivers are being charged for failing to slow down and move over when they see flashing lights. CTV's Sanjay Meyer joins us with this to kind of explain and elaborate on the move over law, which has been around for quite a time.
Yeah, that's right, Stephanie. A police officer I spoke with today, he tells me that many drivers he runs into to confront about this law, they're still unaware that it even exists, despite the fact it's been in place since the early 2000s. But ignorance of the law, he says, is not an excuse. You will still face repercussions, as one local driver found out last night. On another day of snow blanketing the region, it's not unusual to see emergency or service vehicles flashing their lights along the roadside. And it's a reminder that under Ontario law, drivers are required to slow down and, when it's safe to do so, move over, leaving a full lane as a buffer for those working on the shoulder.
It's pretty frustrating. We're constantly looking over our shoulder. Sometimes we turn around and that should be the very moment where that's it. Put the phones down, move over. That way we can all get home to our families.
That nearly didn't happen for an OPP officer who escaped with minor injuries Friday morning after a vehicle rear-ended his cruiser on Highway 401 in Pickering as he was assisting a tow truck with a broken-down car. Police say the collision underscores the potentially deadly risk when drivers fail to move over for stopped emergency vehicles. This after 2 Ontario tow truck operators were killed late last year in separate roadside collisions in the same month. One on the 401 south of Kitchener and another in Wellington County. And just this week, a 42-year-old Windsor man failed to move over when passing an OPP officer at a collision on the 401 in Lakeshore, resulting in multiple charges.
I think it's inattentiveness and unaware of the law. I've written many of these charges, and most of them were unaware of it. The driver's responsibility to be aware of the laws, right? Ignorance is not an excuse under the law.
A paralegal we spoke with says he typically sees an average of 10 move-over violations come through his office each year. That's because in many cases, officers are already tied up with another traffic stop and cannot safely pursue additional violations. But when wild weather starts to pick up, so too does the possibility of enforcement.
I'm on the 401 daily. There was a tow truck assisting the vehicle that apparently was involved in the collision. There were 2 or 3 OPP cars there running block for the tow truck because of the road conditions and everything. So they've got cars available to go after them.
When we're on the side of the road, we're inches away from being exposed to a vehicle hitting us.
And Constable Bowmaster of the OPP you saw there, he tells me since 1989, 5 OPP officers have been killed in the line of duty on the roadside when they and or their vehicles were hit by approaching vehicles. Just another example, Stephanie, of how crucial it is to leave that gap and move over into that next lane.
Yeah, that is so tragic because police officers are there to keep us safe, even in incidences like this, and to put them at risk. Horrible.
Yeah, and on top of the inattentive driving, distracted driving concerns that we're here that continue to plague the roadways, and then you add in this, so a dangerous time, especially with the snowfall again. So a lot to look out for.
Okay, Sanjay Morrow, thank you for this.
Thank you.
Lakeshore is calling on residents and developers to consider investing in the municipality by building affordable housing units. In return, the municipality is offering grants, rebates, or forgivable loans. Whether it's an additional residential unit on an existing property, a duplex, or a townhouse, incentives range between $2,500 to $80,000 per unit. Funding is offered through Lakeshore's Community Improvement Plan. Funds are available for projects that can be completed within the next 2 years. Applications are being accepted from January 19th to March 6th. Dates for information sessions will be announced shortly. For more information, head to our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. The Ontario government is investing $3.74 million to upgrade Amherstburg's water infrastructure. MPP Anthony Liardi says the funding will help replace a century-old sanitary sewer on Richmond Street, protect homes for flooding, and ensure reliable water services. Mayor Michael Proulx says the project strengthens the community and the downtown core. The funding comes from the province's Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program, which supports safe drinking water, housing, and community protection during extreme weather. Following recent traffic challenges in the Twin Oaks Industrial Park, the mayor says the issue is being addressed. A mayoral direction has been issued for city staff to report back to council by January 26th with options for an additional access point. He also wants to see timelines and construction costs. The mayor emphasizes that ensuring industrial parks operate safely and efficiently is a top priority, and the city is committed to delivering a solution. The City Council is backing a call for the province to consult municipalities and stakeholders on plans to consolidate conservation authorities across Ontario. Council supporting recommendations from the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, which represents 440 municipalities. They are all calling on the province to maintain local governance, fund transition costs, restore shared municipal funding, and work collaboratively on solutions. Ward 9 Councillor Kieran McKenzie says the government has rushed the legislation without proper consultation, and in doing so is creating potential risks for municipalities, residents, and flood management.
The idea of going fast just because you find the legislative process as a legislator frustrating isn't a good reason to ram things through.
The province plans to merge Ontario's 36 conservation authorities into 7 regional bodies, including the Essex Region Conservation Authority. Windsor is mourning the loss of a longtime city builder and public servant. Former Windsor CAO and City Councillor Hilary Payne has died at the age of 93. Mayor Drew Dilkin says Payne was a role model known for his intelligence, civility, and deep commitment to the city. Payne was the longest-serving CAO in Windsor's history before going on to serve 8 years as a city councillor. Born in Ireland, he moved to Canada in 1958 and remained deeply connected to his roots. A private family service will be held to honor him. The number 165 has a special meaning for Habitat for Humanity Windsor Essex, marking a major housing milestone. That house number, now displayed at the cash out of the Habitat Restore, represents the number of affordable housing units built, restored, repaired, and financed across Windsor Essex through Habitat's programs. Officials say a new house number will be revealed each new year as a tradition. The Habitat Restore sells donated, new and gently used building material, furniture, cabinetry, and appliances, proceeds of which directly fund Habitat's housing programs. Habitat's director thanks the more than 300 volunteers who support Restore each year.
Half of these guys could go work somewhere else, and they do this because they got the heart for it. You got to have the heart for it. There's no doubt in my mind. You know, the work that these guys are doing, and they're out there sweating and working every day, out freezing cold right now. In the summertime, they're out doing it in the heat, and nobody, complains about it.
Do you have a story idea for us, a comment or question? Please share it with us. Send a text to 10400. You can also send photos and video. Do you know who is living on your street? Still ahead on Windsor's News Leader, the RCMP launches a public database of high-risk child sex offenders. WestJet is reversing course, adding more legroom for passengers. Details when we return. The RCMP say it's making a database of child sex offenders available to the public for the first time. A press release from the RCMP announced the launch of the High-Risk Child Sex Offender Database. The accessible tool contains information about people who have been found guilty of sexual offenses against children and who pose a high risk of committing crime of a sexual nature. Some major news out of Ottawa, where the Federal Court of Appeal has ruled the Liberal government did not have reasonable grounds to invoke the Emergencies Act 4 years ago in response to the Freedom Convoy protests. For about 3 weeks in early 2022, downtown Ottawa was filled with protesters, many of whom saying they were furious about COVID-era restrictions. Many were in large trucks that blocked streets around Parliament Hill. Big rigs also jammed key border crossings, including the Ambassador Bridge. The Emergencies Act allowed for temporary measures like regulating and banning public assemblies and direction to banks to freeze assets. Today's decision upholds one from a federal court 2 years ago. It ruled the government's decision to invoke the act did not bear the hallmarks of reasonableness, justification, and transparency. A change of course for WestJet. The Canadian airline is grounding changes to its cabin configuration after some negative feedback.
Dad, could you just straighten out your legs there? Impossible.
That online video went viral earlier this month, showing the cramped leg space in the new densified cabins, where passengers said they felt uncomfortable and unsafe. WestJet says following a review of the data and feedback from guests, the airline will return to its standard seating arrangement for economy cabins and remove one row of seats. Canada's main stock index crept higher today, helped by gains in the energy sector. In Toronto, the TSX gained 12 points. In New York, the Dow lost 83, the Nasdaq fell 15. The Canadian dollar dropped 0.07 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold lost more than $28 an ounce. Oil gained 26 cents a barrel. Winter falls are sending seniors to hospital, and it's not just the ice. Details when we return.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thank you, Amy, for sending in this image. If you have an image in mind, weather related, of course, text it to us at 10400. We'll talk snow and windy, cold conditions. It's January, after all. Yes, hooray. It's coming up.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
We will be seeing more of that white stuff. Gary joins me again for an extended look.
A shot from earlier this afternoon in Amherstburg, cold and windy. The roads were covered in that slick, slushy snow and even some melting ice. It was not a good drive anywhere across southern Ontario today, yet again. Today's temperatures have been seasonal, what we would expect, close to about -1 for a daytime high. We're in the -2, -3 range between Windsor, Essex, towards Chatham, Kent, and the surrounding locales. Air quality is not an issue. It's good today. I mentioned the winds from yesterday. Still penetrating from the northwest right through the heart of the lower Great Lakes. We'll see gusts in the 50 to 60 range still through to about 10-11 p.m. Then we'll get a breezy, I think a lull. It will still be breezy, but overnight not too bad. The winds ramp up starting tomorrow morning at around dawn. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. -3 or 27 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy conditions and light flurries across the region. It feels like about -11 to -12. Elsewhere throughout southern Ontario, it will be in the -20s through the overnight. That's the wind chill value. Some areas will be in the -teens. Coldest air in the shades of blue, and all of Ontario's in that. It's even colder further west across the prairies, as we would expect. Here's a blanket of snow working through southern Ontario right now. The 401, all of the 400 series highways have been inundated over the last 3 days straight. We'll see patchy snow with second and third waves over the next 24 to 48 hours, all wound up around this one singular area of low pressure. The heaviest amounts of snowfall lie well to our east, Kitchener-Waterloo towards Wyerton, Owen Sound, headed north towards the Bruce Peninsula and Georgian Bay. Take a look tonight. Flurries, windy, temperatures down to about +1 or 0 degrees Celsius. Yes, it's actually going to get a little bit warmer through the latter stage, and then we'll see not -0, that should be 0 as our high tomorrow. 60% probability of flurries, and then more snow and/or flurries into next week. The average temperature for a high about -5 to -6, with the lows averaging -15. It's going to be cold. Let's look at your weather.
Winter hazards don't just include cars slipping on roads. As CTV's reporter Pauline Chan tells us, experts worry about seniors in particular.
Dr. Richard Norman says anywhere from a quarter to a third of older adults will have a fall over the course of a given year, and it's not just due to ice and snow.
The days are also shorter, and so it gets dark early, and people have difficulty seeing, and we're also all wearing bulky winter clothes that can slow down reaction time.
Especially for seniors.
Falls are a major driver of hospitalization for injury. They literally make up around 90% of the hospitalizations that we see.
A significant proportion suffer traumatic brain injuries, and about a third of older Canadians admitted have hip fractures.
Having a significant and lasting impact on a person's mobility and functional independence. So it's something we really want to avoid.
Clearing snow, putting down salt or sand, and making sure walkways are well lit is essential. But while Dr. Norman urges safety for seniors, he warns staying too much indoors has its own problems.
So social isolation is increasingly recognized as a major driver of health outcomes. It's equivalent to the same degree of risk as smoking around 15 cigarettes per day or obesity or sedentary lifestyle. That can actually conversely put you at higher risk of falls because you may actually become deconditioned or reduce in terms of your muscle strength and power.
Dr. Norman says the number one solution for social isolation is participation in group programs like volunteering. And for those living with dementia, Dr. Norman says wandering is a special problem in winter.
Hypothermia can set in, especially below freezing, in anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes in some cases. As many as 6 out of 10 people living with dementia will experience wandering at some point as part of their illness.
If you have someone you worry might set off alone in wintry weather, make sure you have an ID package ready with a good quality recent photo of the person, their medical history, and a list of their commonly used routes and attires. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Ontario's new rules for carbon monoxide detectors kicked into effect at the beginning of the year. And it seems there's been a rush on buying the devices that warn about what's often called the silent killer. CTV's Hannah Schmitz reports.
So with carbon monoxide is a silent killer. That's what they call it.
Carbon monoxide doesn't give you a warning sign. No smell, no color, no taste. That's why fire officials say early detection matters. And Ontario's new rules for detectors are now in place.
The Ontario Fire Code has implemented on every story, carbon monoxide alarms are required to be installed.
The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council says there's been a surge in interest, especially in combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarms.
We've seen it is a lot of panic. People have run out. They're trying to buy new alarms. They don't really understand what they need to do or why they need to do it. If you're asking questions on carbon monoxide, just get a combination alarm. It's a smoke and CO alarm. It'll protect you.
Some of the things we always look at is we want to make sure that it's either CSA certified, ULC listed, or as well as Intertech. Those are the ones that we commonly look for.
At this home hardware store in Kitchener, they've also noticed the surge.
Just trying to make sure that we have products coming in weekly so that we can keep the shelves full because there's been a huge demand.
With customers spending more time in the safety aisle, checking out options and asking questions.
This is the basic one here. This is the plug-in, so that's our best seller. And most people are just trying to do their due diligence and get another one, so that they have the proper amount in their house.
If you already have a hardwired carbon monoxide alarm, it's required that you don't reduce the level of protection and that you keep it at hardwired interconnected.
Beyond retail shelves, some homeowners could also benefit from an ongoing safety initiative. The Fire Marshal's Public Safety Council and Enbridge Gas are installing hybrid smoke and carbon monoxide monitors in select Ontario homes, free of charge, as part of a prevention-focused pilot project.
In 2025, Enbridge Gas donated 14,220 free combination carbon monoxide and smoke detectors to 75 fire departments across the province, and then were further allocated by the fire departments as they saw fit.
A step towards keeping more homes across Ontario safe. A couple of reminders. Fire officials say alarms should be tested monthly and fuel-burning appliances should be serviced regularly. They also say homeowners should make sure they're familiar with installation rules and that renters should speak with their landlords. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Kitchener.
Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, senior advocates warn retirement home rents are rising beyond the legal cap. A good news, bad news story for you. The real estate market is expected to rebound this year with demand from first-time home buyers. CTV's Abigail Beeman on what we can expect in 2026 and what potential home buyers are thinking.
My father talked about his first house that he bought was $80,000, which is now my down payment.
John Gilmer is like so many millennials struggling to buy a first home.
Feels almost like spinning tires.
Even with a household income above $200,000 a year.
The target keeps getting raised as fast as our savings.
Water building up behind a dam.
The Canadian Real Estate Association cites pent-up demand from first-time buyers like Gilmer as a key driver for its new projection of some growth in sales and prices after sales fell in 2025, saying interest rates have come down enough to make a difference. After a 1.9% drop, CREA projects national home sales will climb 5.1% in 2026 and 3.5% in 2027. House prices predicted to climb slightly too, to a national average just under $700,000 this year and $715,000 next year.
People in their 30s who are saying, I need something big enough to start a family in. It doesn't exist. Or it exists in the legacy detached space, which is very expensive.
The so-called missing middle of affordable options.
People aren't necessarily interested in like a condominium townhouse or a condo itself, and they're having trouble getting into like a freehold.
CREA says over the last 2 decades, there's been a switch from building low-density detached housing to building mostly apartments. John Gilmer is hopeful 2026 will be his year to enter the market, thanks to savings, lower interest rates, and financial help from his parents.
$2,700 a month that I'm paying in rent could be used in much better manner where I'm building equity.
The Prime Minister has committed to doubling the rate of home construction. CREA says it has a sense of optimism about the federal Build Canada Homes Agency, but for the medium to long term, while the problem of affordable housing remains pressing today. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Senior advocates say retirement home operators are taking advantage of a loophole, increasing rent higher than the 2.1% cap set by the provincial government. Pat Foran has more on the legality and the impact for people on fixed incomes.
What did you think when you found out it's going to be almost 4% instead of 2.1%?
Well, it made me sick. It made me sick.
89-year-old Estelle Arlo has lived at Venvie Don Mills Seniors Apartments for the past 16 years. She was expecting her rent to increase 2.1% under this year's rent guideline, but was shocked to get a notice her rent would be going up 3.99%.
I think it's a big cash grab.
Arlo's monthly rent was just increased from $3,784 to over $3,900. The fee includes TV, phone, internet, and the opportunity to visit a physician on site, but she buys her own groceries and makes her own food. She believes the increase is not justified.
I was just flummoxed. I couldn't believe it.
The building is managed by Coger Senior Living, which told CTV News of the total 4% increase indicated, 2.1% applies to rent, while the remaining portion relates to services. We recognize any increase can be difficult, particularly for those on fixed incomes.
The landlord has the ability to really increase the overall charge by whatever they want.
The Advocacy Center for the Elderly says retirement homes must adhere to the rent cap on the rent portion of the monthly bill. However, for other services in retirement homes, there is no cap. Advocates say there should be to protect seniors.
Older adults living in retirement home accommodation are often on fixed incomes, and they simply can't afford to pay exorbitant increases.
The Federation of Metro Tenants Associations says seniors risk homelessness if their rents rise too quickly.
We need to have regulation in place that is able to help tenants that are suffering under these economic conditions.
It's a lot of money still.
I know, and I don't have it.
Arlo says she'll now have to cut costs to pay her rent and says the government should introduce a cap on retirement home services to protect seniors from being overcharged. Pat Foran, CTV News.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. West of Windsor Incorporated International Women's Day celebration returns to acknowledge amazing women, individuals, businesses, and organizations through West's Journey Toward Success Awards. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kettner. And Melanie, you have details on provincial funding, this time for Windsor firefighters.
That's right. So the Ontario government is giving Windsor Fire about $120,000 for new equipment. It'll be used to buy bunker gear and more personal protective gear. The equipment is expected to allow them to perform their duties safely and effectively. Fire Chief James Waffle says the investment shows a meaningful commitment to prevention, awareness, and firefighter health. Money from the Fire Protection Grant is going to all 380 municipal fire services in Ontario. Now, we've got those details online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And sometimes, you know, it's time to shovel the snow. I did it just last week. And sometimes I'm questioning, where do we actually put that snow? We do have an article online for that.
Yes, so OPP are reminding homeowners that it's illegal to put snow or ice from your property onto the roadway. Police say it creates a hazard because it could freeze into patches and be a risk to drivers, and it forces crews to re-clear some areas. Instead of putting snow on the road, police ask residents to shovel it onto your own lawn or driveway area and be mindful of your neighbors. You can see more tips from police online. And in our social spotlight, when your kids don't like the same activities as you.
I'm not like a zoom around or like you. I'm kind of like a kind of like lay around. I like to lay around the whole day.
I hear you. Skiing is definitely a zoom around type of sport, and she's just not feeling it today. I'm sure there are a lot of kids that could relate to being lay arounders stuff.
Yeah, maybe she can have a chat with my kids. I would love for my kids to just lay around and chill for a bit, but I love skiing. I think my kids would like skiing. You are a huge skier as well.
I love skiing. Yes, my kids do love to ski, but you know, you never know. It's always good to have a combination.
I loved her outfit though. She really looked sharp. Okay, if someone has a video that they want to send for trending, how can they send it?
Well, they can email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
Okay, thank you, Melanie.
What do I do about a chicken?
Loose chickens, a confused deputy, and a plan gone foul. That story coming up when we return. Gary, anyone on the roadway knows how slippery it was out there.
Yeah, it's going to stay that way tonight, perhaps even through parts of the overnight, and then we'll see rounds of snow for the weekend. Take a look at our EnerCare 7-day forecast. The highs and lows expected. Tomorrow's relatively seasonal, and then it just gets colder from there. 0 degrees tomorrow with flurries, a windy day, then -6, more flurries on Sunday. The low on Sunday's -10. The morning wind chill will be close to about -17. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, snow expected. You know, I kind of smirk and chuckle because people keep going, well, where's the sunshine? It's January, and it's going to snow.
They're hiding above the clouds.
Yeah, it's true. It's going to snow.
Still out there. It's still out there.
That's right.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Michelle, we're still talking about that huge trade deal between Canada and China.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a very big deal for all of Canada, and it's certainly very important here in Windsor, Essex. So tonight we're working on getting more local reaction. Specifically, we're curious how Essex County farmers are feeling about this deal. Canola is a very popular crop here. And then more broadly, we will bring our viewers broad business reaction to this deal from the Chamber of Commerce. Stefanie, that's all tonight on CTV News at 11.
Okay, thank you. We leave our viewers tonight talking about a Colorado deputy who is faced with a very unique search and rescue op involving foul play. And by foul play, I mean a literal poultry problem. Take a look.
What do I do about a chicken? I shall name you Bertha. Come here, Bertha.
A little patience and some soothing self-narration there. The officer was responding to a call of chickens on the loose in a neighborhood. Eventually, the deputy was able to class the bird, but then there was another problem. Not why the chickens crossed the road, but what to do with them.
I really did not think through step 2 of this plan. What do I do with the chicken?
Ultimately, He ended cooping them up in his patrol unit car until animal control arrived and took over. The sheriff's department shared this video and a message. Their deputies handle everything from serious emergencies to surprise barnyard breakouts. Too funny. I mean, that officer just being honest there. Sometimes you don't think of what's going to come next.
Yeah, you think I should do this, and then, oh wait, now what? That's the best part for me, is that you're right, the narration is great.
I'm sure someone said, well, it's cold out there. Why don't we head inside into the kitchen? Warm up.
We're hungry. We're hungry. Haven't eaten in a while.
It's a chicken, the best tasting bird on the planet. Let's just be honest about that.
Wait, I'm a vegetarian, right?
Chicken's good protein.
Well, it doesn't matter what your eating lifestyle is. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
Chicken's good eats. For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Gary and I will be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
Good night.
I like baking.